good people? We bike. We a bike. Yes, the Yeah We Talk Like This podcast. If you are watching, hey, we appreciate you. Before we get into this thing, man, I need y'all to subscribe. I need y'all to like. I need y'all to comment and share. Go to our Yeah We Talk Like This podcast IG page and make sure you follow, because we're going to follow you back, I think. Hey, as you can see, we're going to try. We're going to try.
Somebody missed.
Somebody missing. Of course, it's noticeable. Our guy, Marvin Hunter, he is not here. He is away.
Where is he?
I think he in
Colombia
getting a BBL. So Marvin is gonna come back a bad bitch. And,
Marvin, big boy, Marvin gonna come back too bad bitches.
He get a little breast lift too.
Yeah, Marvin gonna come back as messy Marvin. Andy, now listen, man, we got as
very
promised,
special guest, though.
Very special guest, man. We all should know him. You all should know him. Why? Because he is responsible for all the laughter that goes on here in Atlanta. As a matter of fact, he's the owner of the original Uptown Comedy Corner. My man Angelo in the building. And y'all, this is about to get crazy. It's about to get interesting, man.
Before we get into that, just Angelo, can you tell us a little bit of history of you and Uptown Comedy Corner, how you got into it, and how your stake in the ownership came about?
Well, I go back a ways back, man. I go back to the original Uptown Comedy Corner.
Yeah.
Upstairs.
In Buckhead, across from Houston's.
Right.
I met Earthquake.
Yeah.
When I was a police officer, Atlanta police officer.
You're a police officer?
Yeah, man.
You know that
nigga's a snitch.
He had the largest security company in club security company in the city.
Shit.
Yes.
Wow. So you
Priority security. You remember them? The black and gray.
Okay. That's
So you started.
That's my Atlanta coming out. That's my Atlanta coming out.
So you started out beating up niggas and snitching. Okay, get into the story.
Yeah.
You learned something every day.
But yeah, so me and Quake, we had a conversation one day at 112, man. I was sitting out in my patrol car. He approached me, and we had a long conversation, man. And he said, "Hey, man, why don't you come check out the club? I just opened up a comedy club." So I did, and shortly after that, man, he asked me to run the security at the comedy club.
Okay.
So I was involved with it, throughout its duration until, they sold it and shut down all that stuff. And then me and, one of the other guys who owned the club, we was cool at the time. And he, I always told him, if you ever open up another club, I want in. And so years later, he hit me up one day, and me, him, and Craig met up one day, and
Craig.
That's where
Craig.
Marietta Street Comedy Club was born.
Okay.
I was born on Marietta Street. So that was 19 years ago now. So we've been rocking ever since.
And man, we were fortunate to be a part of all of them.
Yeah.
We've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. But trust me, most of it was all good.
Oh yeah, for
Now
sure.
you've been out. Now the current Uptown is the fourth location, or just
It's the
fourth location. Yeah,
fourth location. You're right.
Street is Marietta
Street, Central Avenue, and now where we are, Virginia.
Yeah, Virginia.
But technically 5, because remember it was a Stone Mountain location.
It was a Stone
Because
Mountain.
it was two. It was two.
At the same
it was
time.
two at the same time. One was downtown, Peachtree Street, and then it was one in Stone Mountain. Off Memorial Drive.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay. Now you had another partner who I don't know if he was partnered with you that kind of met his demise years ago.
He wasn't part of that.
No,
he was not your. So you weren't involved in the club.
He bought Joe Cole.
Joe.
He bought out Quake and them.
Okay.
Because Quake and the other guy had a big feud, and so they eventually sold the club to Joe just to kind of kill the relationship.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like the Greg Street intro song, but for comedy. Remember you talk about the history of hip hop in Atlanta. Remember CeeLo's supposed to be in Good Mind, the history. But I know all this history and all this stuff right here. So because the club split, the other dude took the Stone Mountain location, Quake and them took the Peachtree location.
Okay.
And then Joe Cole came in and bought it from Quake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lav, you know a lot about that.
I'm from here. I'm supposed to know
No, I
this.
just think you being for business too much. I'm
Supposed to know this. I'm from here.
Okay, yeah.
So now we all learned something. So if anybody you've been to Atlanta, I'm pretty sure you've experienced comedy here in Atlanta, Uptown Comedy Corner. Currently, there are 5 comedy clubs in the city. We have Uptown Comedy Club. We have the Helium that just opened up in Gwinnett. We have the Atlanta Comedy Theater. We have
Punchline.
and the Laughing Skull, which is a very, very small club.
Yeah.
And what we just discussing.
But so the thing is, can I correct you on something, Sean?
What?
We have 5 comedy clubs here in Atlanta. I don't know what you're talking about. We have the Uptown Comedy Corner. We have the Uptown Comedy Corner. We have the Uptown Comedy Corner. And we have the goddamn Uptown Comedy Corner. And we have a 6-1 opening in the Uptown Comedy Corner. That is it for me. That's my perspective. So yeah.
Okay.
So we're here discussing, and we want to discuss with a black owner himself, the rise and fall of the black comedy clubs and why a lot of our bigger name comics won't come back to work these clubs where they started.
Right.
I don't understand. Like, for instance, I'll give you a perfect example. Chuckles. Chuckles was a well-known comedy club in Memphis. I've done it a lot. We've all done it. Going well, and it eventually closed down recently. Don't know why, but it closed down, and we don't want to see our clubs close down because, to me, it seems like we're not really welcome in these other clubs unless we are a big name. However, I have been getting, a little luck come my way, and of course, blessings from God. I've been able to get in some of these improvs, so that's pretty good. But
You sleeping your way to the top.
huh? I'm what?
You sleeping your way to the top.
Throwing that ass like a circle. Listen.
Steve, thou art loose.
No, but real talk, I've been able to get into some of them, but it's nothing like having our own. You know what I'm saying?
Well, do you know currently how many black-owned comedy clubs are in the country right now?
5.
There are 5. Okay, wow. I know we have yours. We have the Punchline in Detroit.
We have Nate Jackson.
Nate Jackson. Seattle.
Yeah, and they treat you well.
Yeah, Tacoma.
Mm-hmm. And Nate them treat you well.
They do.
Shout out to Nate Jackson. They treat you
there?
well. Yeah, I was just there.
And what else do we have?
Well, you just said the one in Memphis. Chuckles just
Chuckles
closed.
Chuckles just closed. So
Nate.
hold on, you mentioned Punchline in Detroit, right?
Yeah, Punchline.
That's
Detroit.
that's a kitchen. Ain't no goddamn club.
No, it's another one right here. Ain't it?
And Mike Epps just opened another one in Detroit.
Mike Epps.
Yeah, it's a bigger one. That one you talking about, that little small one. I know.
Yeah,
I know
because
what
I'm
you're
about to
talking
do
about.
that in a couple
Yeah.
months. Yeah. So yeah, it was actually 2 comedy clubs in Detroit.
Yeah, you say you're gonna do the small one? Mm-hmm. You can do that shit virtually. But it's cool. Punchline. Shout out to y'all.
So we had a discussion that a lot of comedians will prefer to work the mainstream clubs or the other club compared to the black-owned club in the same city, and we're trying to get into that and why. And what your experiences are like with that.
Yeah. So what are you hearing? What are they saying to you to justify not working your club as opposed to
the comedians?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we discussed it kind of earlier, man. With a lot of the conversations, the comedians' direct conversations with me have been, well, man, they don't want me to play your club, And so naturally, the question is,
who is they?
Who's they?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So they'll throw it back on the agencies.
Okay.
A lot of the agencies kind of galvanize amongst each other, and they do. Mm-hmm. And they decide who they want to be successful in the clubs, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And they try their best, and they literally will tell them not to play certain clubs,
God damn.
And there's a variety of reasons they'll give.
Like blackballing.
No, it's not kind of like. It is.
It really is.
Yeah. So I learned. I didn't know this originally. When I first kind of really understood how it was working. John Witherspoon was still alive, and John was a great guy. And John played Uptown every year, and so it was a year and a half, and he hadn't played the club, and I couldn't understand why. So finally, we reached out to him directly, and so John said, "Man, they never gave me an offer." I said, "We put in an offer, multiple offers.
You didn't get the offer."
Yeah. So John said, "I tell you what, give them this number, these numbers, and submit it to them." And I submitted exactly what Mr. Witherspoon told me to submit. The agency declined. The offer said, John passed on your offer. I said, so John passed on his own offer? Because he gave me the offer.
Right.
Yeah.
So I called John back and said, hey, Mr. Witherspoon, they said you passed. He said, what? You know what I mean? And he said, man, I'll call you back. They never gave him the offer. They just told me
Wow.
he passed on it. And so that's my kind of really was like, and John, you know, to his credit, he made that call. All of a sudden, that same agent that told me he turned it down, said, oh, yeah, Mr. Witherspoon decided he's going to play the club. I was like, oh, really? How about that?
Yeah, thank you so much.
You know?
Goddamn liar!
Yeah.
And so, you know, that was kind of my indoctrination to how dirty this game can be played, you know.
So what you're saying is these other guys have a better relationship with the agencies than you probably do. Because of maybe skin
is it a
color
relationship thing? Yeah.
I think, again, they just have decided what we're going to do, you know, and you know, Uptown, especially in this area, is still a threat to people.
Everybody.
You know what I mean? And it's in you know, by the name, by the reputation, you know. And so if Uptown is closed or, you know, Chuckles is closed, there's no
other place to go. But
Technically, mentally, there's no competition.
there's no
mentally.
competition. You know what I mean? And they
okay, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. There's what? How many millions of people? 9 million people in the city of Atlanta?
20.
Why is it a problem? Please explain that to me.
Well, you know, the way they see it is certain people, they want the monopoly. You know, and if we have the monopoly, that means we can kind of control whoever, whatever, wherever. You know, and so, you know, you're right. It's more than enough people. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I as much as I despise what the agencies do, at the end of the day, I still chalk it up to it's up to the artists to make those decisions.
Right.
You know, and
Because they control their own
They can see if they want to work there or not.
Well, no, because the agency work for the
them,
artist.
right.
So it's not a you work for the agency, they work for you.
Exactly.
Here lies the problem is that a lot of them, and I've had a conversation, man. I had a conversation with one comedian in particular where he kept saying, man, they don't want me to do it. And I just put my hand on his shoulder. I said, brother, and I'm not going to call his name, but I just said, brother, recognize your own power, man. I said, let me ask you a question. And this was like early on in the year, maybe May, June of that year. I said, are you booked for the rest of this calendar year? He said, yeah, I'm booked up through January, February next year. I said, so you think they would cancel all that? They would fire, they would get rid of your contract when you're booked all the rest of the year?
And making them money.
Because you played one club.
And making them money.
And making them plenty money.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because you played one club. You know what I mean? You say that one club makes that much of a difference. So, you know, and that's why I always respected, you know, a lot of the comedians who have stayed loyal. You know, and listen, when I say loyal, I don't mean we're the only club in town. I just mean show that club some love.
Yeah.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
Well, Angelo, I will say this based on my experience. Uptown is the only club in town that has made me feel like an actual artist and a man. Meaning, I've always been treated fairly. I've always been treated with the utmost respect. And you don't look at me like, hey, okay, you played my club, you ain't playing it now, get the fuck out my face. You know, and I've been treated like that by other owners. You can't even come to the club. We have a big event because, hey, you know, you're nobody to me. You're not working. You're not making me money. As far as
don't
Uptown,
even come in here.
You can't do nothing. You know, as far as Uptown, you can come in, hang out. You know, if you can fit in there, if it's a main event, it's still all love. You know what I'm saying? People showing you a lot of love and respect, and you actually feel like a professional entertainer who is appreciated. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say it on camera, Angelo. When I blow up, I'm still gonna do Uptown. These niggas ain't gonna blow up. Them two ain't gonna blow up. But I'm gonna blow up. Look at these niggas. I ain't gonna blow up. I'm gonna blow up. So I'm coming to do Uptown any chance I get. That's just what it is.
Let me ask you a question.
I recognize my roots.
From a financial standpoint, let's say a comedian does one of the other clubs here in Atlanta, or y'all got. Is he gonna make the same amount of money basically?
Yeah, or the finance is comparable.
Finance is comparable to what they're gonna make at another club.
Absolutely. Before, now, you mentioned Helium. Helium is the only club in town that, that's going to be sizably different than everyone else.
But they're pretty big.
Yeah.
Okay.
From what I understand, I haven't been there.
Yeah,
but from what I
typically
understand-
Helium's typically seat 400 or
400
more.
people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they pretty much all set up to be that way. They're more, they set up like event venues
Okay.
that specialize in comedy.
Like the Stardome in Birmingham.
Yeah,
It's
sort of like
similar
that, but
because they
they're
have-
similar, but it's still it's like a modern version
Yeah,
of the
correct.
Stardome, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, they're supposed to have 2 rooms there, a large room for 400 and a smaller room. But outside of that, then we have as much or more to offer than everybody else in terms of seating.
Okay.
We may seat the same number of people, but then you go into like your VIP seating. We can offer more of that. So the numbers are definitely comparable or more. So that's not the excuse that
So financially
is not it.
you're gonna make the same amount of money whether I work Uptown, Atlanta
correct.
Comedy Theater, maybe not Helium because it's more seats,
Yeah.
but so it's not the money. It's we know what it is.
That's all it is.
But the treatment, you know what I'm saying? The money is great, but when they treat you like you're just another person and we're making money off you now, get the hell on. That's what I can't get past. You know what I'm saying? Dude, I'm making you money. I'm probably one of the best comics you've ever seen. Treat me like, I'm worth it. I worked my ass off to get to where I am. So you're treating me like, oh, you're really nobody. You can't come in. You can't do this. I'm like,
Well, I'll say this: when I work Uptown, and I've worked at the other club.
Sure.
Since I got back in Atlanta a couple of years, so I worked there twice, and both of them had to do a door deal. The numbers was okay, but he's not there. You don't get to talk to him. You don't get to see him. But when I come to Uptown, Angelo's gonna be there. He got strippers in the back with him. They dancing. That's good. I'm just but Lowe's gonna
You
be
get
in
strippers? I just get cocaine. So it's like, man,
Hey, well,
I trade the strippers for the cocaine. 'Cause I'm tired of doing cocaine.
and laugh.
Let me do this stripper.
And Angelo was always there because when I bomb, he like, hey, you ain't shit, right? But we got 5 more shows.
Angelo
You try your shit.
he gonna be in the building,
gonna be
man.
in the building.
And I'll be real with you. It's a family atmosphere. Like in the other club, it's kind of raggedy. The other club in town is raggedy. I'm saying it on camera. Yes, it's raggedy.
Okay, so let me take this in a different direction, and not to get off that, but
I'm
just
not gonna say Uptown is aesthetically the best place in the world, but this place.
But
it's
let me
very,
ask
very
this,
homely.
because for me, having Angelo here is we could also talk about the business piece of it.
And we paid the
So
nigga. And we paid the nigga.
yeah, he ain't paying him enough. Listen, so Angelo, what do you think? What do you think would help? Because I think it is a tragedy, because we know this, but most people don't know this. When we have, like in this country, you've heard of mainstream clubs. It's thousands of mainstream clubs. So the fact that there are only 3-5
A handful.
black clubs in this country, that's bananas to me. So why do you think that is the case? Why do it be? And another thing that we know that the people might not know is these mainstream clubs, guess what color comics are keeping these doors open?
Black comedians.
It's the black comics.
They used to be white comedians, but I would say over the last 20 years, it's been
it's black comics that keep their doors open. So clearly,
Exactly.
we are the product.
Yeah.
So if we are the product, why aren't we dominating this industry from a number of club standpoint?
Well, I'm gonna say it like this. It's more to me that slave mentality, right? And I say that by saying this: we, for some reason, have a knack of wanting to be where we're not welcome.
Ooh. Damn.
You can go back, like you just said, 20 years, man, and 20 years ago, majority of you could never get into the punchline. You would never even be considered for some of these rooms.
But it's still like that now.
Yeah, for a lot of people.
Still like that now.
And so for our mentality is, I want to get in that room because they won't let me in.
And it'll legitimize me.
And it will legitimize me. You know what I mean? And so they're just fighting to get into those rooms. Now, I'm a businessman, and I respect you all's craft, right? So I get it if you get the opportunity to go into a punchline realm where they got 20, 30 clubs across the country, who wouldn't want to be able to make a run? You know what I mean? That's just business. That's just smart. But, you know, we won Comedy Club of the Year 2 years ago, right? And in my speech, I said to everybody at the audience, and to some of these, you know, bigger comedians, why wouldn't you still offer 1 week, 1 weekend out of a 52 weeks in the year? You're telling me you can't give 1 weekend to those black comedy clubs, whether it's Uptown or Healing, I mean, not Healing, but Nate Jack, whatever. A black comedy club, 1 weekend out of a year is not gonna change your life
At
in
all.
any shape, form, or fashion.
At all.
If you're doing all these arenas and all these tours and all this big stuff, you tell me that 1 weekend, you can't say to your agency, hey, listen, I got 1 weekend that I'm giving to this comedy club, this comedy club, and this comedy club. You can book everything else around it.
Yeah.
Because
But
you the
gotta
boss.
fit them in.
Yeah.
Because you the boss too.
And that lab will change the dynamic of all those black comedy clubs. Can you imagine if just 10 to 15 of these comedians who were selling these arenas, if they just gave 1 weekend to that black comedy club and 8 to 10 of them did it over the course of a year, you just changed the whole dynamic of the black comedy club. Now they're all open.
Wow.
So 100%, but I'm hesitating to comment because I think it's a bigger conversation because I 100% agree with you.
Okay.
But because other artists don't do it either. See what I'm saying? Outside of comedy, like I got a friend who promotes. We all know RJ. RJ, he does a bunch of colleges.
Shout out to RJ.
And one of the things that he's like really frustrated about is like these artists, not necessarily comedians, but these artists, rappers and whatever, who are super pro-black, but black college want them to speak for career day or something like this and gonna pay them, but they like, yeah, I need that 200,000. Like, dude, you know this is HBCU, right? No, I need the 200,000.
Wow.
Like, but dude, it's Black History Month. No, I need the 200,000.
Right.
So he's like, but you so pro-black.
You so pro-black.
And this school can't, nobody's saying doing it for free, but what they saying is, you know, we can't do the 200,000, but we got 80,000 in because we know we asking for a favor. Can we let's do it on the Tuesday. Where you can make 80,000 on the Tuesday at?
Right.
But they won't do it.
Right.
So that's what I mean, the bigger conversation. So I feel
I made these same conversations with so many comedians, man. I was like, listen, I get your weekends, you're gonna do Civics, you know, State Farm or Fox. But if you're coming through town on Tuesday, Wednesday night, and you'll still sell out, you know what I mean?
And shout out Ali because you recently had Ali.
Sadiq.
Ali
Sadiq did it. You know, I had this conversation with Ali Sadiq. This exact same conversation. And I, you know, told him some of the concerns. And I was like, brother, we just get you on a Tuesday, Wednesday night.
And he came through.
And he said, man, Angelo, I'll do it before the end of the year. And true to his word, we didn't have another conversation. He had a guy call me and say, man, Ali said he's coming.
Ali cut from a different cloth.
Guess what he did?
he
Guess what he
really
did?
did. Black
He
man,
sold it
black
out
man.
on the Tuesday, Wednesday night.
Ali cut from a different cloth. He
But just the
different animal.
but just the realness of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even you got a DC Curry who's touring all over the country. You got TK Kirkland. All these guys
TK
have
pulls
always
up.
said,
Right.
nobody's gonna tell me where I can't play at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No one's gonna tell me where I can't play at.
Crazy.
Whoa,
And then
but
you
y'all,
work for
hold
me.
on, but you
work for
mentioned
me.
you mentioned 80,000. Angelo, you ain't never offered me no damn 80,000.
And you ain't gonna never get offered 80,000.
You're not an 80,000 nigga at this point. Maybe one day.
This is my last day on the podcast. But you know, it's like you being groomed by this man to go to another club and never come back. It's like you're grooming the talent. You're preparing all this great talent because they come through us and then they go out there and don't come back. And I don't understand that. I never understood it.
I don't understand it. And like I said, I get the bigger venue, I get the money, I get all that, but to not ever, you know, we're not asking for no favor, you know what I mean? But but come in on like a sort of off night.
Yeah.
And do the same thing, but just to show some love to that club.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just to show some love to where you kind of got your chops at. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, in holiday season, Thanksgiving, you know what I mean? Everybody go back to grandma's house, right? You know what I mean? That's where your roots that's where your roots are at.
Come back to grandma's house.
Come back to,
baby.
you know what I'm saying?
Come back to grandma's house.
You know what I'm saying?
We still gonna be fussing and fighting, but come on back. Hey, real quick, what's your most memorable moment at Uptown?
Oh, damn, you gotta come. Oh, man, so many men. Probably some fights out on the damn patio.
Because, hey, what y'all don't know, this has nothing to do with the club, but comics
Nothing at
will
all.
fight. Comics will fight. I'm glad I've never been involved in one. Laugh, what about you, Steve?
You said I quick get diverted at that, right?
Hey, boy, this dude here.
What about you,
He
lad?
the only dude got a record. You and K-Dub. Listen, so let me see. Yeah, you gotta remember, like I said, I go all the way back to the Peachtree days. So
me too.
I done seen a lot happen at Uptown.
He old as fuck,
throughout the. I am, but I
been
didn't.
around
Ooh,
him,
so you give us yours, Steve, because I done seen so much. Because I'm thinking of different moments in my head now where it's like, wow,
Well,
I
honestly,
remember that.
man, it's so many, but
Yeah.
I can say this. This is the only club in Atlanta that I've gone to and worked at where I really feel like a professional, where I really feel like, hey, I'm that guy. They treat me like I'm worth it and I'm valued. So that is my...
Okay, I got mine. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. What's yours?
Never forget, Uptown on Peachtree.
This nigga got fingered.
But she told me she loved me. Listen, so I never forget. Bruce was hosting. And when I tell you he had that bitch rocking like this.
Shout out to Bruce.
The headliner went on and killed it. And then Quake came in. Quake, like, I want to go up. And everybody's like, we was like, ooh, after all of that? He was like, Quake was like, yeah, I'm ready to go up. So they put Quake on. Quake got up there with his drink.
And that was
There
it.
for 5
Sat
minutes.
there for like 5 minutes, let the whole
energy
song play.
drain down.
Just, they ain't say nothing, just, and as he did that, it's like people just, the whole energy of the room came back
I think I
down.
remember, are you talking about when he followed Chris Rock at
Yes,
1:30 in the morning?
yes.
Yeah.
And then it came all the way down, then he cut the music off. And I thought Bruce them had it rocking. If Bruce them shook it, Quake kicked the roof off that bitch and it flew up Peachtree. That's when, so that is like when comics say they ripped and they killed the stage.
We always look at
that's my bar. If that is what you don't look like, you just had a good show.
And that's what I do.
You just had a good show.
And that's what I do.
Well, mine's is just,
y'all ain't gonna vouch.
starting out. I started out my career at Uptown. It was Tuesday nights. Bruce Earthquake will host Tuesday night amateur night. Then we leave there and go to 559, and I would get booed every Tuesday Uptown.
Everybody
and
did.
then I could get booed at the 559. So that's how my
Doubling up
career
on the
started.
boo.
Them first 3 years, I got booed a whole lot, but I learned a lot. Now I can kill anywhere. If you can handle Uptown on Tuesday and 559,
that is.
ain't nothing you can't deal with.
Angelo, man,
True
we
that.
appreciate you taking out time of your busy schedule, man. Listen, if you're ever in Atlanta, make sure you go and check out the Uptown Comedy Corner. There's always something there that's great. It's full of laughter, professionalism, all that. And trust me, if you go to Uptown Comedy Corner and you see this man personally, you didn't pay your goddamn tab.
Hey, you can go to these other clubs if you want to, but they got roaches. I'm just saying. They got roaches.
Angelo, thank you, man, for coming out. Hey, listen, man, if you want to keep some advice from me, if you want to keep your well-established business open, don't book these niggas. Hey, y'all, thank y'all for watching the Yo We Talking This podcast. Hey,
That's
man,
right.
we appreciate you, man. Again,
All
God,
comedians, come back to
Angelo.
Grandma's house for Thanksgiving.
Hey,
Come back.
make sure y'all support the Uptown Comedy Corner. Thank you, Angelo. We appreciate it, man.
I appreciate the invitation.
That is, Yo, We Talking Like This podcast. Y'all make sure y'all like, subscribe,
Share.
comment, share, and all that. We out.
Yeah.